A very warm welcome to Nationwide. I am Dennis Adegunloye. Let's begin with this story coming from the United States that President Bola Tinubu has delivered a strongly worded reform policy proposal to the United Nations, warning that the global body must restructure or face irrelevance as the world events increasingly bypass its influence. In his address to the UN General Assembly's 80th session, President Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, warned that the UN's credibility is being undermined by the gulf between its words and its deeds, while positioning Nigeria's economic transformation as a model for developing nations. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Jibrila reports.
We are here to strengthen the prospects for peace, development, and human rights. Madam President, I want to make 4 points today to outline how we can do this.
Outlining 4 key reform demands, starting with Nigeria's call for permanent UN Security Council membership, emphasizing Nigeria's transformation from a colony of 20 million people, absent from the tables where decisions were taken, to a sovereign nation of over 236 million, projected to be third most populous country in the world.
Nigeria must have a permanent seat in the UN Security Council. This should take place. This should take place as part of a wider process of institutional reform. 2, we need urgent action to promote sovereign debt relief and access to trade and financing. 3, countries that host minerals must benefit from those minerals. And 4th, the digital divide must close. As our friend the Secretary General has said, AI must stand for Africa included.
Nigeria also expressed deep frustration with the phase of international progress on critical issues, from nuclear disarmament to Security Council reform.
Nigeria's soldiers and civilians carry a proud legacy. We have participated in 51 out of 60 United Nations peacekeeping operations since our independence in 1960. We have stood with our partners in Africa to resolve conflicts, and we continue that commitment today through the multinational Joint Task Force. At home, we confront the scourge of insurgency we resolve. From this long and difficult struggle with violent extremism, one truth stands clear.
Nigeria's national statement positioned Africa's natural resources as central to future global stability, emphasizing the need for African control over strategic minerals.
This is why we are not indifferent to the devastations of our neighbors near and distant. This is why we speak of the violence and aggression visited upon innocent civilians in Gaza, the illegal attack on Qatar, and the tensions that scar the wider region. It is not only because of the culture of impunity that makes such acts intolerable, but because our own bitter experience has taught us that such violence never ends where it begins.
Addressing Nigeria's ongoing economic transformation, the president acknowledged the difficult reality facing Nigerians, but said the economic reforms represent a model for resilience.
I'm calling for new and binding mechanism to manage sovereign debt, a sort of international court of justice for money that will allow emerging economies to escape the economic straitjacket of primary production of unprocessed exports.
President Tinubu called for renewed commitment to multilateralism while reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to peace and development. From New York, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
Now back here in Nigeria, the federal government has warned of heavy rainfall and potential flooding across 15 states and 69 communities from September 24th to 28th, 2025. This is contained in a statement from the Ministry of Environment's National Flood Early Warning Center. The advisory lists Adamawa, Anambra, Bayelsa, Borno, Delta, Edo, Imo, Kano, Katsina, Ondo, Oyo, Rivers, Sokoto, Taraba, and Zamfara states as those being at risk. Communities such as Yola, Yanagoa, Warri, Benin City, Oguta, Kano, Jibia, Akure, Oyo, Ahoada, Shagari, Seti, and Gusau are particularly vulnerable. Stakeholders are therefore advised to take preventive measures to protect lives and property. The ministry urges residents, local governments, and emergency response teams to remain vigilant and implement precautionary measures. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, has inaugurated a national interagency working group to address the growing threat of lead poisoning in the country. To combat this crisis, the ministry has provided laboratory equipment in collaboration with Médecins Sans Frontières to enhance active surveillance and conducted soil remediation and community education. This was at a workshop in Abuja to finalize and validate the 5-year National Strategic Plan on lead poisoning elimination, where officials underscored the urgency of government's responses.
That initiative is meant to take everything that has to do with prevention on health that will maintain well-being to the grassroots, to the household, using locally available resources.
Nigeria witnessed outbreaks of lead poisoning in Zamfara State in 2010, where over 400 children died and several others were disabled in Niger State in 2015. More recently, in 2024, fresh cases were reported in Zamfara and Sokoto State. Now, the National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA, is celebrating the delivery of quadruplets for a beneficiary of the Comprehensive Emergency Obstetric and Neonatal Care Program. The mother, Hawa Usman, was diagnosed with triplets and malpresentation of fetus, but delivered quadruplets through cesarean section at the Federal University of Health Sciences Teaching Hospital, Azare, Bauchi State. NHIA Director General commends the hospital staff and the family for a safe delivery, stressing the program's impact in saving lives and protecting families from financial burdens. The program, which is benefiting at least 422 pregnant women, provides free emergency care for women and newborns in underserved areas. Today is World Maritime Day, and we know that the maritime industry accounts for a major volume of global trade. It sustains livelihoods and feeds millions across the world. Yet, it poses risks to marine biodiversity through pollution, overfishing, and habitat destruction. This is why the International Maritime Organization is focusing on healthy and safe ocean practices in the commemoration of the day. Chukunonso Nwabweze reports.
The ocean, no doubt, is the lifeblood of the planet, regulating the climate, producing oxygen, sustaining livelihood, as well as feeding millions across the globe, and serving as the mainstay of global trade, with over 80% of world commerce transported by sea. However, the ocean, reports have shown, is under severe threat from plastic pollution, rising sea temperatures, acidification, and overfishing, which requires greater commitment through policies and actions by governments and other stakeholders for lasting solution.
This administration, under the renewable agenda, recognizes the enormous potential for marine resources, not only as a revenue source, but as a pillar of economic diversification, environmental sustainability, and national security. Indeed, with the coastline stretching about 853 kilometers, and Nigeria's location along the Gulf of Guinea, one of the most strategic maritime corridors in the world, we're well positioned to harness significant economic opportunities from shipping, fisheries, coastal tourism, offshore energy, and marine biotechnology.
They will pick these up in a selective way where the robot stays hovering over the seafloor as we pick up these nodules. The vision system on the vehicle identifies life, leaves life undisturbed, and also leaves a proportion of nodules completely undisturbed as we pass over them. That way we ensure we maintain the function of the ecosystem.
IMO, here we go. Let's protect the ocean.
With the theme, Our Ocean, Our Obligation, Our Opportunity, this year's World Maritime Day serves as both a reminder of humanity's dependence on the ocean, as well as a call to action for the maritime industry and global community to take strong measures in preserving the blue planet. Chukunonso Mwabweze, NTN News.
Let's now cross over to our Lagos Network Center, where Adiola will take over and give us the next set of reports. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Still on maritime, as Nigeria joins the rest of the world to commemorate Maritime Day, experts are advocating efficient utilization and protection of ocean resources to guarantee long-term economic gain. Industry stakeholders believe that with the policies initiated by the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, Nigeria is now a key player in the global maritime sector. Joel Pokwola reports.
With the theme, Our Ocean, Our Obligation, Our Responsibility, World Maritime Day is a call to action putting in the front burner the need to jealously guard the ocean and prevent it from environmental pollution and other forms of abuses that can adversely affect animals and ocean resources. The ocean plays a vital role in economic activities, providing a transit point for 80% of goods and invariably creating employment opportunities for millions of people globally.
We can do much more, there's no doubt about it, but we're not doing badly. That we have even awoken to the opportunities, we have even awoken to the reality of what we can get from the ocean that we're so blessed with in our country. It's a starting point.
The need for protection of the ocean and maritime assets has become imperative, and Nigeria is not lagging behind in this area with the Deep Blue project, which has resulted in zero piracy in the last 3 years.
We need protection, we need legislation, because when we go to the IMO that we are celebrating today, the laws must still be domesticated by the member countries.
The policy that set up the Ministry of Maritime and Blue Economy Hub itself is an indicator that yes, there is indeed real commitment.
As Nigeria targets more relevance in the International Maritime Organization, ending illegal and unregulated fishing and other issues are crucial factors industry players say can boost the rating of Nigeria. In Lagos, Joel Pokwola, NTA News.
Throughout thorough and transparent cleanup of Ogoni land and the entire Niger Delta, accountability from the international companies and justice for communities formed the basis of discussions held by interested groups and non-governmental organizations in commemoration of 30 years of murder of human rights activist Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 other elders from Ogoni land. Amakawa will tell us more on this.
The agitations by the people of the Niger Delta over environmental pollution and injustice resulted in what has been widely described as an unfair trial and death of Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 others. Despite the presidential pardon granted and national posthumous honors bestowed on the activists by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the people of the area are still demanding compensation.
People in the Niger Delta deserve
some form of support from the federal government. They deserve some form of justice in terms of all the environmental monstrosities that has been happening in the Niger Delta.
We are asking that the government of Nigeria to set up $1 trillion for the cleanup of the entire Niger Delta.
The groups from the area also say their requests are in line with global concerns over the harmful impacts of environmental degradation.
Canals are left built just to convey poorly treated toxic waste into the rivers and creeks and finally into the ocean. And people are living in land that are polluted, they are drinking polluted water.
There have been some reports that have been launched as well, carried out by reputable organizations in the Niger Delta, who have found hydrocarbons in blood of people in the Niger Delta.
For the people of the Niger Delta, they say they will not relent in ensuring that hazards from oil exploration in the area are reduced to the barest minimum. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
And we're done with a contribution from the Center of Excellence. Dennis, it's back to you for the continuation of Nationwide.
Now, Kebbi State is reaping the rewards of a bumper harvest of grains, with millet and rice production exceeding expectations. Despite the late rainfall and early cessation, farmers in the state have achieved impressive yields thanks to government support and improved farming practices. Usman Abdullahi Shehu takes a look at the impact of this harvest on food security and the local economy.
State, well known for its agricultural strength, has emerged as a major producer of staple crops such as rice, millet, wheat, maize and sorghum. Despite inconsistency in rainfall patterns in the state this year, which could have potentially impacted crop yields, the agricultural sector demonstrated remarkable resilience. Farmers who heeded advisories from the state and federal governments to cultivate upper lands achieved impressive harvest, leading to a decline in food prices.
Despite the lack of adequate fertilizer, I was able to harvest over 60 bundles of millet compared to 50 last year. This year's rainfall pattern was different. I had to plant my crops 4 times because of it, yet I still managed to harvest 70 bundles of millet.
This success has had a positive impact on food prices, with costs beginning to trend downward across the state. For instance, a measure of local rice is selling between 1,200 naira to 1,500 naira, depending on the level of polishing, while millet is sold at 300 to 400 naira per measure. Grain sellers are optimistic that market stability will be maintained if locally produced rice and other grains meet domestic demand and supply.
We are now looking forward to seeing prices of other processed food items drop, just like those of grains.
However, prices of processed food like spaghetti, macaroni and noodles continue to rise despite the decline in grain prices. This disparity highlights the complex dynamics of food pricing in the state. Expert believes that if this momentum is sustained, it will be a crucial step towards achieving food security and driving economic growth. In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Well, Usman Abdullahi Shehu is still standing by in Birnin Kebbi to tell us the national outlook for this bumper harvest. So, Usman, is this harvest big enough to impact government efforts on food security? Apologies for the poor audio with hooking up to Usman. We'll maybe try and get him later. For now, let's take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Thanks for rejoining us. We can now connect with Usman Abdullahi Shehu, who is standing by in Birnin Kebbi, to talk more to us about the national outlook for the bumper harvest that is happening in the state. So, Usman, once again, is this harvest big enough to impact government efforts on food security?
Very much, yes. The harvest is big enough, This year's harvest will significantly have an impact on the government renewed effort to ensure food security. Let me give you an example. 2 months ago here in Kebbi, a bag of millet, it sold around 110 to 120,000 naira. But as of yesterday, I went to the market and a bag of a millet now is selling at 35,000 naira to 40,000 naira. And then Kebbi State is now looking like a grain hub where people from all over the country come into the some of the major grains market in the state to purchase grain. Like if you go to Makera grain market, here Bunza grain market, and even Binilafia grain market, you notice that there's a significant increase in the number of people who come to purchase these grains because of the lower price of the commodity. Also, even people from around neighboring countries like Niger and Benin Republic, if you go there, you meet their kind of trucks. They are loading and purchasing these grains in a large quantity. Back to you, studio. Thank you.
All right, certainly very good news coming out from Benin Kebbi. Thank you, Uzman, for giving us that update. Thank you. Now, turning to other news, a key concern confronting countries across all regions is how to maintain a well-equipped, qualified health workforce amid growing financial constraints from economic slowdowns, shrinking budgets, and rising health care demands. The World Pharmacist Day serves as a platform to highlight the vital role of pharmacists in global health, and following this year's theme, Think Health, Think Pharmacists, there are hopes to address key health challenges such as the impact of budgets cuts and the importance of trained pharmacists in healthcare systems, and to celebrate and advocate for the contributions of pharmacists in building healthier communities and to increase public awareness of their services. The day also shows that pharmacies are integral to health care systems. And joining me... All right, let's cross over to our Sokoto Network Center, where Sadia is our guide. Hello, Sadia.
To have you join us in Sokoto. The Sokoto State Ministry of Health has adopted the National Emergency Ambulance Service in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda for the health sector. The initiative is designed to provide timely response for pregnant women, accident victims, and those injured in banditry attacks. Dalat Abdullahi reports.
The National Emergency Ambulance Service is designed to provide timely succor to Nigerians in moments of distress. Sokoto State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Farouk Omar Abubakar, while flagging off the program in Sokoto, described it as a major step in expanding access to emergency health care in line with the federal government renewed hope agenda.
These services are expected to cover pregnant women with obstetric problems, RTA, road traffic accident cases, as well as the children under 5 with such emergency, and as well as the emergency medical services within 48 hours.
The Director of Medical Services in the ministry urged residents to take full advantage of the free ambulance service, assuring that a dedicated platform would enable beneficiaries to reach the emergency center at any time of need.
Whenever you see a road traffic accident and the issue of transporting the victim to the facility is a problem, dial that number, rescue will come. These ambulances, they're going to various locations in the state.
The ambulance service is regarded as a landmark initiative in Sokoto State that is expected to save countless lives by bridging the gap between emergencies and timely medical attention. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
No fewer than 320 women entrepreneurs who engaged in small-scale food processing have received cash and food support to strengthen their businesses. Wife of the Sokoto State Governor, Fatima Ahmad Aliu, presented the assistance to the beneficiaries at a ceremony in Sokoto. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu has more.
Each beneficiary of the gesture received between 10 and 20 kilograms of millet, rice, beans, and soya beans, in addition to a cash grant of 10,000 naira to strengthen and sustain their livelihoods. The program is a collaborative effort between the Sokoto State Government and the IFAD Agribusiness Support Program to assist small-scale entrepreneurs across the state. Wife of the State Governor, Fatima Ahmed Aliyu, highlighted similar initiatives that women have benefited from under the Renewed Hope Initiative and other government-led empowerment programs, reaffirming the administration's commitment to uplifting women and vulnerable groups.
All these are part of our modest effort to create job opportunities, especially among the vulnerable groups in the states. Empowering women is the hallmark of societal development, considering the huge population of women in our society.
We need to share some experience and expertise with regards to this activity, which I believe will make a serious, remarkable development to our state.
The Country Office of IFAD International Fund for Agricultural Development, Abuja, commended the effort of Sokoto State Government for regular release of funds for sustainability of the projects and the program activities in the state.
The State Commissioner for Women and Children Affairs commended the governor's wife for her consistent support to women, pledging the ministry's readiness to partner with development agencies in scaling up training and capacity building for women entrepreneurs. In Sokoto, Abdullah Umar Ilalu, NTA News.
And those are the news update from here. It's now back to Dennis in Abuja.
Many thanks, Dia. Let's now go back to our earlier story on World Pharmacist Day. We have now in the studio Dr. Abubakar Daraka. He is a pharmacist, consultant, and health sociologist. He is also a drug production and quality assurance specialist and fellow of the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists. You're very welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Obviously, the world continues to face complex, interconnected health challenges. Looking for solutions brings us to today's theme, which is Think Health, Think Pharmacy. Just talk to us to start off with about this theme.
Actually, the World Pharmacist Day is a commemoration and a platform that pharmacists globally use to highlight the importance of pharmacists in the healthcare system. The pharmacist, who is the custodian and the expert on medicines right from inception, that is at the level of development, we are responsible for creating the development of the molecule to its formulation, appropriate formulation for use either as tablet, syrup, or injectable. And at the same time, when prescriptions come, pharmacists undertake the review and the evaluation to ensure that there is no any incompatibility or interactions and guarantee patient safety so that when he takes the medication appropriately as instructed, he will get benefit. So the theme remains Think Health, Think Pharmacies. So you cannot have healthcare delivery without a pharmacist being the custodian of the important commodity, which is the drug, and the pharmacist remains the expert and the custodian of such commodity.
All right. Clearly, there are a lot of hospitals across the country, everywhere, in fact. Is there still, some will say, is there still need for pharmacists in society?
Definitely. In fact, one of the American presidents said clearly and categorically that if the world does not have a pharmacist, we will have created one. That is to say, and that is very clear during the COVID, how pharmacists used their community pharmacy and made medicines availability at the doorstep of citizens, because the pharmacist remains the most accessible healthcare professional globally, not only in Nigeria. It's in the pharmacy you will meet a highly knowledgeable healthcare professional who has the knowledge of the disease, even though the doctor, the physician prescribes based on diagnosis. The pharmacist, having known the knowledge of the use of the medicines, guides the use, because medicine is a poison. If it's not used correctly, then definitely it kills, and it kills the entire community. So the pharmacists remain relevant because he is the custodian and expert of drug knowledge and responsible pharmacotherapy.
All right, so lastly, Doctor, the challenge of fake drugs is still very much in the picture. What is being done to combat this?
What we keep advocating at the level of Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria and the West African Postgraduate College of Pharmacists is to educate Nigerians that ensure that you collect and pick your medication from a registered pharmacy. Like in all other professions globally, there is quackery. Especially here in Nigeria, you see how drugs are displayed in markets, in motor parks, by quacks, people that have no business with the essential and very critical commodity. So the message remains clear: think health, think pharmacies. When you need to fill your prescription, ensure you meet a registered pharmacist in a hospital or in a community pharmacy. And with that, you can be rest assured you know the source of your medication.
Definitely, very, very important. Dr. Abubakar Daraka, pharmacist and consultant and health sociologist. Many thanks for taking the time to talk to us, and congratulations on this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, let's revisit the issue of the bumper harvest that we were earlier talking about in Birnin Kebbi. We now cross over to Akure live, and joining us is Abdul Karim Ahmed, who will tell us more on post-harvest plans in Ondo States. Abdul Karim, what can you tell us about how things are going there with regards to bumper harvests?
Well, currently it's a wet afternoon here in Akure, and that does not stop the post-harvest activities that is going on. But speaking in general, when it comes to tackling post-harvest losses, what I found out was that a lack of adequate processing and storage systems is the major cause of why we're having a lot of loss when it comes to post-harvest products, and farmers are clamoring for government's help when it comes to them getting maximum profits and also being able to store their goods, their products for a very long time, so that over time they'll be able to roll them out. And of course, if for farmers they are able to have good processing and storage systems, then Nigeria will not be losing as much money as we do when it comes to our post-harvest losses. We'll also be able to maintain the value of our food. There will also be stable prices and availability of food all year round, simply because why? There is adequate processing and storage facilities for the farmers. And I believe that due to the high losses that we suffer in post-harvest season is why the federal government came up with the Nigeria Post-Harvest System Transformative Initiative, which would help farmers. It is basically centered on new generation storage systems that will help farmers all around protect their products and ensure that they get maximum profit from their product. Because for a farmer who has prepared his soil, who has gone through the rigorous activity of harvesting and sorting, and then being able to get maximum profits from his product is the happiest thing that can happen to a farmer, rather than his goods perishing over time due to maybe bad roads and storage systems. So both for the consumers and for the farmers, it is important that they have adequate storage system so that all year round the problem of food security and availability would be properly tackled.
Definitely, thank you. Many thanks for that, Abdul Karim. We certainly hope that these losses will be minimized and things will improve there in Ondo State. Thank you. Let's now cross over to our Kaduna Network Center, and Salamatu will guide us. Hello, Salamatu.
Thank you, Dennis. Good afternoon, and glad to have you join us here. The National Orientation Agency has organized a Northwest Zonal Campus debate to further create awareness among citizens on their civic responsibility. Gloria Tukenwadun, who was there, reported that the event was a forum where students from all the 36 states of Nigeria converged to discuss meaningful way forward for the country.
It is the convergence of students across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory for the National Campus Debate Competition, designed to develop young minds in knowledge, civic responsibility, and national awareness.
In the Unity in Diversity campaign in Nigeria, we have to have resilience. It's Igbo exercise, it's Yoruba creativity.
Yoruba, Igbo planning, and others. Let's love, lead. this year's edition of the debate with the theme Unity in Diversity, Defining National Identity in Nigeria's Multicultural Society, featured youths who submitted video entries that were screened and evaluated. Baba University Kano emerged winner, while the Air Force Institute of Technology Kaduna came second.
Opportunity and a privilege. We are so happy.
It feels wonderful and amazing because this is our first trial reaching this point.
The debate, organized by the National Orientation Agency, encouraged the youths to examine the meaning of being a Nigerian, to discuss how the nation's differences can serve as strength, and suggest ways to build a united and fair society.
Is to encourage youths nationally, particularly students at the tertiary and higher and universities, to participate in our national programs.
The youth in the Northwest will have interests, will join hands together for us to have a unified Nigeria, keeping aside their religion.
The agency has also introduced a new platform that enables citizens to give real-time feedback, access government information, report community challenges, and connect with public institutions for solutions. In Kaduna, I'm Muhammad Marajinki, NTA News.
The federal government is stepping up the fight against food insecurity with the launch of a multi-stakeholder agribusiness forum in Kano. The platform brings farmers, agribusiness operators, and government agencies together to drive innovation, strengthen collaboration, and push Nigeria closer to food security and economic diversification. Our Salisu reports.
The Multi-Stakeholder Agribusiness Forum is part of the federal government's drive to boost food production, expand commercial agriculture, and strengthen long-term food security. The forum brings together farmers, agribusiness operators, and government agencies, all working to share ideas, showcase innovations, and tackle key challenges in the sector. At its core, the initiative envisions transforming agriculture from subsistence to a modern, market-driven industry, one that drives economic diversification and secures livelihoods for millions of Nigerians.
Kano State, with its strategic location, vibrant agricultural base, and entrepreneurial spirit, is uniquely positioned to lead this transformation.
The goal is to transform our raw materials, raw agricultural produce, into high-value processed goods, creating jobs and prosperity for the people.
To unlock the full potential of agriculture by driving value addition, attraction, investment across job, creating job, strengthening linkages across the value chain.
With Kano State as a strategic hub, the forum marks a major step forward on the.
And that completes our package from here. You're still watching Nationwide. We'll be rejoining Dennis in our Abuja studios shortly after this time out. Please stay tuned.
Welcome back. Chief Corporate Communications Officer of NNPC Limited, Andy Ode, has visited the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, to deepen collaboration between the two organizations. NTA's Executive Director News, Ayo Adewi, who received the delegation, also committed to a win-win working relationship. Lydia Sampson reports.
Relaxed and friendly atmosphere, not surprising, since Andy Ode actually began his career with NTA. This made the visit feel like a homecoming of sorts. During the discussions, Ode highlighted the critical role of strategic media partnership in keeping Nigerians informed about developments in the oil and gas sector.
But first to say a big thank you to you for the support we have received in terms of coverage, and then more importantly, the quality of relationship that exists between the NTA and the NNPC. The value that NNPC is expected to bring to the nation is properly captured in terms of sustainability. That's what the current leadership is doing to ensure that the NNPC of today provide value and ensures value for Nigeria.
He pledged NNPC Limited's full commitment to providing accurate and timely information that supports national energy goals. NTA's Executive Director of News, Ayo Adewi, in turn reiterated the authority's dedication to supporting national development through deliberate and impactful communication efforts.
There are rules about broadcast. There are things that NTA will not do. There are things will happen in NNPC that we need to consult as a group. This might cause national embarrassment. How do we go about it? It is not about shirking in our responsibilities as journalists, but in our social responsibility in protecting the integrity of the nation.
The meeting also explored joint initiatives such as content sharing, co-productions, and media training opportunities. The visit marks a renewed drive to strengthen transparency and communication channels between NNPC Limited and NTA, ultimately delivering credible and comprehensive petroleum industry news to audiences across the country. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Senior Special Assistant to the President on Homegrown School Feeding Program, Dr. Yetunde Adeniji, has visited Jigawa State to strengthen public-private partnership towards reviving the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. Received at the Government House by Governor Umar Namadi, Dr. Adeniji commended Jigawa's commitment to education. Mohammed Musa Askira reports.
Namadi pledged the full support of Jigawa State, noting that the program aligns with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. He emphasized that beyond improving school enrollment and nutrition, the program boosts the local economy by engaging farmers, vendors, and cooks. The governor disclosed that Jigawa has gone beyond the national benchmark by extending school feeding program from primary 1 to 3 up to primary 6 and has already made budgetary provision for 2025 and 2026. Meanwhile, the Abdullahi Mahmoud Foundation that came along with the presidential aid announced plans to commence its 2025-2026 school feeding and uniform distribution in Malamaduri and Kaugama local government areas of Jigawa State, targeting 200 schools and reaching at least 30% of enrolled pupils in the first phase.
We are always ready to key in to Mr. President's agenda. This initiative will be expanded. It requires a lot of sensitization, it requires a lot of, I'm sure there are people that are willing to assist in this. So I'm sure by the time you improve the sensitization so that at least more people will come in to support the government.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President, Dr. Adeniji, commended the Jigawa State government for complementing federal efforts in addressing the challenge of out-of-school children, assuring that with such commitments, the program will achieve lasting impacts. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
A group on the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress, Abia State Chapter, tagged Abia Best Interest Group, has commended President Bola Tinubu for changing the fortunes of state allocation since the post-fuel subsidy regime. The group lauded the exemplary display of democratic leadership at the center and urged the federal government through anti-graft agencies to closely monitor spending of these resources. Now, INEC today held a strategic meeting in preparation for the forthcoming Anambra State governorship election, the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory, and the conduct of party primaries for the Ekiti and Osun State governorship elections. The meeting, presided over by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, also approved the 2025 promotion of 471 deserving junior staff of the commission on the recommendation of the Appointments, Promotion and Disciplinary Committee in line with the staff conditions of service. The INEC chairman at the meeting assured the people of Anambra State of a transparent exercise. And ahead of the 2027 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, continues to sensitize Nigerians on the need to fully participate in the continuous voter registration exercise. This time, INEC led its team to some streets in Uyo with market women in focus. Abasiangyanga Epenyong completes the report.
Sensitization coincides with the 38th anniversary of Akwa Ibom State, with the INEC team on the streets to enlighten the populace on the ongoing continuous voter education. Akwa Ibom State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Mr. Oboefanga, while congratulating the state on its 38th anniversary, urges eligible unregistered public to partake in the ongoing exercise for a better Akwa Ibom and Nigeria.
INEC is inviting as many qualified Nigerians as possible who are residents here in Akwa Ibom State to come and register so that they will be voters.
Akwa Ibom is doing so well from all the publications that we have seen so far. We are actually leveraging on that to embark on advocacy, mobilization for people to be aware and be partakers in this very exercise.
I was in INEC offices. I was so impressed of seeing the turnout of people coming to register.
As the 2025 nationwide voter registration continues, record shows that over 30,000 residents across the 31 local governments of the state have successfully registered. The sensitization work, which took off from INEC, Udodoma office, climax at Akpanande market, where the traders were enlightened on the need to get registered. In Uyo, Abasenya Ekpenyong, NTA News.
Let's now get the latest in the world of sports.
With the countdown to the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in full swing, the Confederation of African Football has launched the official AFCON Trophy Tour, kicking off in Kigali, Rwanda. The tour is part of CAF's build-up to Africa's premier football competition, which will be hosted by Morocco from December 21, 2025 to January 18, 2026. The prestigious trophy is now making its way across the continent, allowing fans to share in the excitement ahead of the tournament, which promises to showcase the very best of African football. On the global stage, preparations for the 2030 FIFA World Cup are gathering pace and potentially expanding. According to emerging reports, FIFA is considering increasing the number of participating nations to 64, a move that would mark yet another significant milestone in the tournament's evolution. The 2030 edition, which commemorates the centenary of the first ever World Cup held in Uruguay in 1930, will be jointly hosted by Spain, Portugal, Morocco, Argentina, Uruguay, and Paraguay. Back in England, the Carabao Cup is serving up its fair share of drama, with the last 16 draw producing several compelling fixtures. Defending champions Newcastle United are set to welcome Tottenham Hotspur in an all-Premier League clash, while Arsenal, in search of their first League Cup title since 1993, will take on Brighton. Among the fairy tale story, Grimsby Town, the only remaining League Two side, and the shock conquerors of Manchester United have been rewarded with another home tie, this time against Brentford. Shifting to tennis, the International Tennis Federation has confirmed that Nigeria will host Uzbekistan in the 2026 Davis Cup World Group 2 playoffs, scheduled for February 6 to 8, 2026. Nigeria secured its place after a strong showing at the Africa Group 3 event in Harare, Zimbabwe, where the team earned promotion alongside Namibia and Senegal. With home advantage and growing momentum, Nigeria will be hoping to make a significant mark in the global tennis arena. For Sports Update, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Have a good evening.